Hello everyone. Oh, it's great. Shout out to Riley Hutchison for doing this awesome song, Coming Up Pieces. Hello everyone, my name is RadiantG. I am the marketing specialist for Walkall Studios, as well as one of the artists on the team. I have been working on the game since early this summer. Scott hired me onto the team to sort of fill in some gaps in the team structure, and I've really enjoyed it so far, and we funded on Kickstarter, so we're really excited, and we're finishing up the campaign now, trying to get to a couple more stretch goals. Um, you can't really tell until you're in game. Sometimes you might want to adjust the music and sound down a little bit from the voice volume, but cool. So yeah, in terms of getting into the industry, kind of happened by accident. I had been a hobby dev for many years. I made my first game when I was 7. It was just something that I always did for fun. When I was a teenager, friends would come over and play my games, or I would bring them over to their house on a USB stick, and we'd all like play, compete for high scores and things like that. But I always saw it as a hobby. Um, I went to school for animation, and I was planning to go into the animation industry. I had already done some animation work before I even went into college, indie animation, and that was my plan. But the more I thought about games and the more I was making them, I wanted to do something like that, and I said, you know what? Why don't I just throw caution to the wind? I'm gonna apply for a games job. So the very first job I applied for after I graduated college was a job in the games industry. Very first job I applied for, I got it. And that's how I ended up here. You can tell the world is a different place now than it used to be. So I like Kusano Hime. Perfect. You're more than welcome to. Oh, I mean, I've been working professionally in the games industry since 2018. Um, that's when I started doing the convention scene and talks on games at things like PAX and stuff like that. And then I got my first like ongoing contract in 2019. Um, and I have been working in games ever since. It's been my full source of income for the past 8 years. Hello, hello, hello.
Oh, haha! My microphone's been muted the whole time. Holy crap. Oops. That I'm not surprised.
What does
Um,
that mean? Does that
uh,
mean no one has heard anything we've said so far?
they've heard everything that you have said. They have heard nothing that I have said. So I will do. That's fine. If it's not a scuff stream, it's not a stream. So I will do the intro again, which is perfectly fine. Hello, everybody. I'm here with RadiantG from Walkwell Studios as we play their game Princess at World's End. It is currently on Kickstarter. There is a link in the description as well as on the sidebar over here. Please go check it out. Their Kickstarter ends on Thursday, I believe.
Yep,
And they have
Thursday night.
currently raised an amount of money. $4,054 of a $3,000 goal.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's absolutely impressive. We will get back to check out the Kickstarter here in just a short amount of time. First, we're going to be kind of playing through part of this demo, show you guys what it's all about, um, and I'm excited. And now everybody can hear me, which is lovely, because at the time that was not the case. Um, there's so much text. Alright, this is a tale of a princess in a doomed world. No happy ending awaits her. Oh no. Nobody gets a happy ending. The princess slept soundly in the forest. The princess knows not what surrounds her. You are the princess, a sleeping beauty waiting to regain cognition. Wake up, dear princess. Enter her name. Darn, I was hoping there was a default name. Uh,
You'll be called Princess because that's her nickname, but this is just like her government.
her government. Yeah, that's fine. We will do Faye then. As you attempt to move, you find that you cannot do so. I hate sleep paralysis. Numbness has taken over. Your body feels as if it is a statue. The only feeling comes from the tips of your fingers. Everything lacks such a feeling. You begin to panic. The feeling returns, so cold, so wet.
Where am I? How did I even get into a situation like this?
Okay, so this game features voice acting, which is definitely up my alley.
Yeah, full voice acting.
Again, kudos.
Wait, I remember now. It was those guys at the damn rock show last night.
The fact that she has an empty bottle next to her has me already feeling like I have an idea of what's going to happen.
They must have laced this shit. I've never taken Numex and had side effects this severe.
Oof. You move your eyes around looking for your purse, but it is nowhere to be found. This means your cell phone, wallet, and other belongings are gone. The only thing they left behind was an empty bottle of pills. You don't recognize the brand.
As if things couldn't get any fucking worse for me right now. They must have stole my purse when I was unconscious. Guess I'll deal with that situation later. First, I need to stand up and get out of the rain.
You are able to slowly stand up and move under the cover of the trees. Everything is in so much pain. Your head is pounding. It feels like it is about to explode. Oh, we have options. Now, obviously it's a visual novel, but is this one of those where every action you make leads you down a specific branching path? Or is it no matter what you click, you end up in a linear progression?
I would say neither. Um, there are some choices that will matter. There's also different things that can be affected, such as your numbness levels based on your choices. But then there are also smaller branches as well. There are some choices that are wrong choices. There are some choices that will give you game over. Uh, but I will tell you that this is not one of those.
Right off rip, you make a choice, it's game over. No, I
Yeah,
love.
we wouldn't do that to you right out of the gate, even though that would be very, very fun.
I mean, Slay the Princess does. So, uh, I personally, I like choose your own adventure books and stories. I have also, so I did a narrative design uh, boot camp recently to kind of learn what goes into that aspect. So I could be a more well-rounded, CEO and everything. And I have to say, the amount of text and everything is just mind-boggling. Not a job that I would be able to do at any full capacity, but certainly glad that I have other people that can do that. Um,
One of the main lectures I teach is actually on branching narrative and narrative games and making organic character relationships. I've taught it at different schools. I've done it for Code Coven. I've done it for Northeastern University. I've done it for several conventions like PAX. Um, so I love that stuff. I love branching and point systems and all that junk. That's my bread and butter.
that's awesome. We'll have to talk later and see if you'd be willing to come into the studio. It's all online, but basically come into our Discord and put on a small presentation for us on that. That would be really fun.
Yeah, let's talk.
Yeah. But a question for you. What has been the biggest challenge that you have confronted in your time of development? And what do you think the biggest challenge is for the future? Whether past this game or, during, finishing this.
Yeah, so I told Faye beforehand that because of the fact that Scott, who is the lead developer for Wackle Studios and the founder of Wackle, he couldn't be here today. He wanted to. I forwarded him a couple of the questions, so I'm gonna read a couple of answers, and this is one of those. So Scott said, development itself has been smooth thanks to my great team and good planning. The hardest part was the anxiety of waiting for the Kickstarter because I knew it would be so much I knew it would be so crucial in whether or not this project would work out.
One step at a time.
And well, look at this overfunded, stretch goals reached. We love to see it.
Absolutely. Having dealt with Kickstarter twice myself, being a part of a successful team back when I was 16, 17 in 2013, versus having an unfortunately unsuccessful Kickstarter back in 2023. Yeah. Times are certainly different. I'm glad to see that, the crowdfunding and the indie sphere is kind of rebuilding itself after what has felt over the last couple of years like a downward spiral in the industry as a whole. So absolutely, I can't say enough. Congratulations to you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, let's get out of the forest. Now, are all of these backgrounds like hand drawn or, hand drawn, digital? You know what I mean? Are they drawn?
Only a little further until I can make it home.
Yeah.
I can do this.
Because you said you were also an artist on the team.
Yeah, I didn't do any background art. I did the art for Kusano Hime's Earth form, and I will be doing Kusano Hime's alternate outfits. And I did all of the marketing asset graphics and stuff like that for the whole Kickstarter campaign.
Awesome.
The lead artist on the team is Cheng Lu, who is incredibly talented but does not have social media.
Gotcha. Do.
I wish I could live in a world like that. I want to touch grass.
You want to touch grass. Understandable. So the game Princess of Worldton takes place in 2004. What games were you playing in 2004? And how did that lead into this kind of vibe for the project?
Might as well not.
Yeah, so obviously 2004, that was like the GameCube era. I was mainly playing Kirby Air Ride in 2004. Which is great because Kirby Air Riders is coming out in November, and it was the #1 game of all time that I wanted a sequel to. It's my favorite game series of all time, and the fact that we're finally getting a second one, I am so stoked. So I might actually start streaming just so that I can share my love of this game with other people and play the new one. So Yeah, I was all about Kirby. I was also playing Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, and Fire Red and Leaf Green. Um, we do have a scene in this demo with a retro game system, and people will be like, "Oh, retro is a GameCube," and I'm like, you gotta think this is in 2004. When we're talking retro, we're talking like NES and Super NES era, not GameCube. GameCube is new to them.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? What were you playing back then?
Well, so in 2004, I was dealing with the fact, and I was a child. We had hurricanes that were coming through because I'm based out of Orlando, Florida. In 2004, we had a string of hurricanes. One of them was Hurricane Charlie. Hurricane Charlie did this funny little thing where it pulled the roof off of our house in the
Oh my
middle of the
gosh!
hurricane. So, myself, my brother, my father, my mother scooped us up, grabbed the cats that were in their carriers anyway, just in case. We got into one of the vehicles because the other one was pinned into the driveway, and we drove down the street to my Nana and Papa's house. There was a tree in the road, so they had to, move that out of the way enough so we could get the vehicle down. And then, yeah. Well, after that, we had no power, but we had our handhelds. So what we were playing a lot of was our Game Boy Advances,
Yep.
and then we ended up at a hotel. One of the cleaning ladies stole my Game Boy Advance, and so in about a week or so, we ended up with Game Boy Advance SPs. So what we were playing was like Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced, anything that really
Yep.
you could take like a link cable, a link cable, and be able to do stuff. We had the Mega Man. I believe there was a couple of Battle Network games that we did that with. Obviously, Pokemon. And we
Yep.
are a Nintendo household, so we have all of our old Nintendo consoles. I'm a retro variety streamer, and I play on original hardware. So if you see me play like an
Awesome.
NES game, assume there's an NES being plugged in, unless it's like a randomizer or something that it has to be on digital. Um,
Yeah.
my favorite
I
games.
have
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I have a working GameCube downstairs with 4 Wavebird controllers that still work. I have thrifted the Wavebird controllers and like picked them up from different retro game stores, but it's my original GameCube. Um, and I do like retro game parties from time to time. My coworker is coming over on Saturday to play Kirby Air Ride with me, so that's gonna be fun.
That's awesome. You said your favorite game series is Kirby. Mine is The Legend of Zelda. It is what got me
Nice.
into game development, and my favorite game in that series thus far uh, is The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. I think
Nice.
it has some of the best like meaningful NPCs in any game, period, let alone, in a Zelda game.
Mhm.
The fact that everybody is on a schedule and doing their own thing, regardless of where you are, it and like you were just your background, like their background to you, but to them you are background. You are an NPC
Mhm.
in their life, which is really interesting because I can't say I've ever played another video game since that has made me feel the same way about a set of NPCs. So, that,
Cool.
other than that, I play Smash Bros. Ultimate competitively, but at the time, we were playing Melee, not competitively, just my brother and my
Nice.
family and stuff. So we were doing that. Um, growing up as a typical, gamer family. Um,
Fun fact, in college, we were doing this little mini tournament that was 10 games of Melee.
Mm-hmm.
And I had been talking a bit of a big talk um, about how I was good at the game, and this group of friends was like, okay, sure, yeah. And anyway, we start, and I'm playing Princess Peach, and I die first, and all my friends start ragging on me, being like, oh, you said you were good at this game, and I was like, yeah, but like I thought we were just playing fun, and they were like, no, you're no good. So anyway, I'm like, I just want to be clear. I don't main Peach. I main Ice Climbers, and if you wanna see how good at the game I am, I will show you. But you're gonna regret it. And they're like, do your worst. I switched to Ice Climbers and I won all 9 of the other games in the tourney in a row.
That's awesome.
They banned me from using Ice Climbers again.
That's absurd. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
What I'm saying.
uh, do you play Ultimate?
I'll be honest. All of the rest of I've played all of the other ones. I own all of the other ones. You know, I've played Brawl, I've played Wii U, I've played Ultimate. None of them I've liked as much as Melee. I just that was my favorite, and yeah, again, I play Ultimate, but I I have played Ultimate. I wouldn't say I do play Ultimate.
That's fair. Um, well, it's funny because there is a way to play Melee online and everything. There's a few different ways, but one of them is downloading a program called Slippy and a copy of the game for a specific underwater program uh, that I won't
Mhm.
name here because Twitch is funny about MUs. But um, you can play that game online against other people, and the Melee community is still strong to this day.
Mhm.
It is still the, if I'm not mistaken, #1 Smash game out there compared to the rest. We went to Supernova, which is the Super Smash Bros. Major out there in Chantilly, Virginia, this past August, and like, yeah, a lot of it was Ultimate, and some of it was Rivals too, but a majority of it was still Melee because they're the ones that like built the space essentially. And yeah, you can play
Yeah.
with 64 and everything, and that has a pretty large fan base as well, but nothing compared to Melee. I mean, you say Hungry Box and everybody knows who you're talking about immediately. So, alright, let's get through some of this. Actually, is there? I think this is because it's not. Yeah, it's window. There we go. Maybe now it'll stop flickering on me.
Sorry to bother you so late. I was walking back to the city and got caught up in the rain.
To the city? Well, that's a long walk late at night. You're welcome to take a rest inside my house. I will try and help you out the best I can.
Samantha is great. I
Goodness,
love
what is a pretty
Samantha.
thing like you doing walking in the rain on a Sunday night?
It's a long story I would rather not talk about right now if I'm being honest.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be pushy. I was just curious is all. My name is Samantha.
Aw.
I will go get you some towels and blankets. If you need anything else, please let me know.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you. You can call me Princess. Let's just say it's a nickname that was earned, not given. I'm not really a big fan of my birth name anyway, so it was bound to stick.
Well, that sounds interesting, Miss Princess. Tell me more when I come back, okay?
This is cute.
Yeah, she's awesome.
rifle through her medicine cabinet. No! That's horrible. Why is that an option right off rip? Do 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 do. So for you, what are the most important things that you think a video game should have?
So should is a strong word, and I go through this in some of the talks that I do. But every rule that I can teach you is also made to be broken. I think that it is always possible to make a good game without doing the things that I would recommend. But if we're talking about, in general, what do I look for in a game? Like, what would make me play a game?
Hold that thought. Sorry, really quickly. We have an ad that is coming up.
All right.
So we will have to pick that one up after a little ad break.
All right, we'll hold for Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. Taco Bell doesn't sound good, but like Mexican food sounds amazing right now.
I have homemade fajitas in my fridge that I'm gonna eat after this, so.
That sounds awesome. I don't know what I'm gonna eat. I think we have some excuse me. We have some biscuits. But I don't know. I might make some kind of something because I need to eat. Options. Is this ad gonna start? Hello? Really? That's crazy. If the ad doesn't start, I'll have you go ahead. I just didn't really want you to get yaja about it. There we go. Okay, so 2-minute and 30-second ad. For those of you that do not have an ad break, Kay and myself will be playing Peak this weekend, probably Friday, Saturday. Depends on the weather. It's been pretty stormy in both of our locations, which has affected a multitude of things, including but not limited to our ability to access the internet. Extraordinarily frustrating on Kay's end. But unfortunately, 'tis the season for weather. But yeah, Tyler, Mirage Rebellion will probably be joining us. Also thinking about playing Path of Exile 2. A friend of mine keeps recommending it, and I'm like, alright, maybe. We'll see. Depends. I'm kind of busy. We'll see what's going on. Other than that, yeah, I know Silk Song came out. I don't really want to play it on stream right now. One, everybody and their brother's doing it. And two, I don't think there's anything new that I can bring to the streaming experience. So, leave a comment in the Discord if you want to see me play that, but otherwise, probably no. After this, we will probably go ahead and raid out to Spiny Coin if he is on. I think it's his Twitch anniversary. I'll double check. If not, we have a couple other friendos that are on and doing stuff. So we will go, we will show the love, and do the thing. Speaking of doing the thing, we'll be back in 20 seconds. So that's fun. Do 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 do. Okie dokie, and we are back. So, yeah, go ahead. You said rules are made to be broken. So, I guess tell us the rules.
Yeah. So, I love a game with aspects of character customization. That could either be through appearance or in terms of choices, or like having, if there's romance, having more than one gender as romanceable characters, like stuff like that is very eye-catching to me personally. If we're talking on a more technical level, um, I like stories that have agency for the player. I like stories where choices matter, which we were sort of talking about earlier. Um, I like gameplay that is interesting. Um, I love visual novels. Um, I also love platformer games. I love. I'm a sucker for a good hero shooter. I'm kind of burned off of them right now, but historically I've played quite a few. Um, I also like um, games with replayability. I think one of the things that I really like about Kirby Air Ride is that I could just play City Trial for hours, and it's fun every time. Um, so yeah, I would say player agency, character customization, replayability, and interesting elements are like the things I look for when I play a game.
Absolutely understandable. Um, I know, depending on the kind of game that I'm in the mood to play. Like I said, I have my retro collection that I do enjoy digging back through.
Mhm.
There's nothing like playing something that is comforting. Um, but I do have a few like larger staples that have become a massive part of my life. For instance, recently in the past year, I've really gotten into the Persona series. I've
Mhm.
always enjoyed JRPGs. And turn-based games, obviously. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, Golden Sun,
Mhm.
because I adore Golden Sun to the moon and back. Very short series. Um, but um, no, I also like games that have really good voice acting in them as well.
Mhm.
As a voice actress, I have learned a lot about what goes into that, and it is definitely no small feat. Having voiced in 2 video games myself, um, which is ironically my first one is a visual novel that I was in, very similar to this one, called WTC. Welcome to Chichester. Love Labor's Lost. And then the other one is an NDA project that has not come out yet, unfortunately, so I can't talk too much on that one. Um, but yeah, no, I could absolutely understand the need for replayability, as well as having some sort of unique spin, whether that is different gameplay mechanics or just a different delivery of it altogether.
Mhm.
Oh, what should we do? Let's not rifle through her medicine.
I can't lie to myself. I'm fiending, but I also have to control it.
Yeah, I love voice acting. It's so fun. I got into voice acting when I was 16. So that's just been a part of my life here and there. I took a hiatus, but now I'm back and I've been doing a lot
You
of
wouldn't
stuff.
happen to have any
I'm
paintings, would
actually.
you?
Am I allowed to say this? Let's just say you may recognize a voice in the full version of the game.
I mean, hey, if we're not voicing on our own projects, like, what are we doing?
Well, again, like, this is mainly Scott's project, so I'm here for the ride and I'm here to support.
I mean, that's also understandable. I know when and if given the chance, I do, because I run a voice acting trading community actually, called Voice Cluster. I'm sure you've seen it floating around Blue Sky when we're in sessions and everything. Because I post like crazy on Blue Sky. Because there's actually people there. Imagine. Uh, but I um will typically use games like visual novels as an example, because everyone forgets that that's an option, and they're just like, oh, I want to be in the next Call of Duty, or I want to be in the next hero shooter, or big anime game. And it's like, yeah, that's fine, but there's plenty of indie projects that like need voicing. Like, I don't
I
know.
love voicing indie stuff. It's
Likewise.
so fun.
No, it's
What
it's
one
such.
of the games that I oh sorry.
Oh, you're fine. I was just going to say, it's such a privilege to have the opportunity to do that. Go right ahead.
Yeah, so another game that I did voices in, Ink Inside. It is a beat 'em up dodgeball combat. How do I even explain it? It's a co-op game. You play as a non-binary stick figure that teams up with a non-binary princess, and you're trying to save a notebook that is getting soggy from a leak in a closet in the real world. And I voice a few characters in the game, um, including Cat Hat, which is a sentient hat that is also a cat. That if you pet him enough, then he'll protect you from incoming damage by wadding around stuff with his tail. Um, so that's very fun. I also voice Queen Princess, who is like the queen of Princess Land, the land you're exploring in the Notebook. And I also do creature sounds for a couple of the boss battles. Um, so that's been really fun too. Um, and we should be coming out on console sometime in the near future. So
That's
that's
amazing.
exciting.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. And we're already out on Steam. We came out on Steam last year.
Awesome. Um, well, let's see. Back to more Scott questions, I suppose. So how is the team assembled for this project? And before you answer, let me try to get out of this house.
Sorry, honey. There's something I
Oop.
have that will help you out much more than a pill.
If she hands me a towel, I'm gonna laugh.
Samantha? Where are you?
Looks like you're awake now. Here, these will help you dry off.
Huh.
Sorry to keep you waiting. I was busy fetching some medicine to help you out.
Don't worry about it. I'm just glad you're still awake.
It looks like the pills have taken a toll on you, honey.
Wait, how did you know I was on pills?
Well, that's just calling intuition from someone with a similar experience in their past. You came to the right person. I can help someone like you. But first, I want you to hear my story.
Yes, of course.
Interesting. Beach.
So yeah, Scott's answer to that question was I did a lot of research and tried to find the most talented people I could. My main artists I found through forums and freelance websites. I found Radiant on Blue Sky and was really impressed with his work and his respective disciplines. I had to make sure I surrounded myself with trustworthy professionals, and I think I have done well. It has been one of the most important factors for this project's success thus far. My voice actors I found through a casting call on Casting Call Club, and I was really amazed with the quality of the auditions, and making the final role decisions was super tough, but I am confident in those decisions as well, and they've all been great to work with.
That's amazing. I guess alongside the same or similar line, um, do, 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 do. What inspired Scott to put this game together?
Scott said, I was first inspired while playing Witch on the Holy Night on my Switch during a rainy fall evening. That made me fall back in love with visual novels after getting a bit burnt out while creating one with zero budget. It was pretty bad, but it was a great learning experience, and I decided to take a chance and invest my savings into developing a high quality visual novel, which turned out to become Princess of World's End.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so like Scott had basically been funding this game by himself, and making sure everyone was getting paid and all that. And then we did the Kickstarter because basically he realized that he wasn't going to be able to get this game over the finish line if there wasn't an external budget. And now we have that, so it's really exciting.
Understandable. Honestly, that's great. I've been in that position before, and yeah, trying to get that external budget is difficult. I've primarily been unemployed slash self-employed since 2016, and like I put London Studios together. Probably I would say 2020-ish, definitely pandemic era, but I was already working on what was to be the first project over there by myself, out of pocket, and it continued to be out of pocket until we hit a point where we were supposed to have a demo, and it just didn't pan out too well. So we put out what we did have on Kickstarter, and Kickstarter had been a different beast with all of the scams and everything, and people were like, "Oh, your stuff looks too good. We have no idea where you came from. We don't trust it." And unfortunately, 30 days passed, and that was it. So we were like, okay, let's take a step back. We rebranded the studio to a place where beginners and professional could come and work on like game jam projects and everything, because the layoffs in the industry have been not amazing, obviously. And there were plenty of developers that wanted to still work on stuff but have the ability, like, for there to be financial compensation, but a majority of them did just want to be doing stuff and not having to come up with the projects themselves as a general rule. So we did a bunch of those, and then we have like a polishing stage. It's like, okay, let's look at these and vote on which one we want to put in a polished state. We put a tower defense game into a polished state, and that became a game called Bear Brigade. That will be out on Steam soon, but it is a first-person tower defense. So
Nice.
we're very excited to have that come out. It's chock full of voice acting, a whole lot of narrative. So if you enjoy reading, well,
I do not.
well,
I'm
yeah.
dyslexic. Fun fact.
Gotcha. Well, if you enjoy listening to voice actors read lines, there you go. There's plenty of that.
There we go.
Nice. Um, so obviously you have more experience with the indie side of things. But
Yeah.
what has your experience been with any of the AAA stuff? And what do you feel is the difference between an indie game and a AAA game, especially in the like economics of game development currently?
So honestly, I think that those terms nowadays are kind of useless because you have, games with budgets of over $1 million calling themselves indie when like indie used to be like one dude uploaded something to Newgrounds. Like, things have just changed, and I just think that AAA, double A, triple I, all that stuff is just so. And like, you have people be like, "Is GTA gonna be the first quintuple A game?" And I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, that doesn't mean anything."
No, absolutely. I feel like when it comes to acronyms and stuff like that, just adding more letters to it doesn't really do anything. Just like numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the difference between a million, a billion, and a trillion? I don't know. It doesn't affect me. Like a bunch of zeros I will never see. Why do I care? Or better yet, a bunch of money that doesn't exist in the world. Period. Like if it's not backed by something, it doesn't exist. So. But no, I 100% agree. When you've got budgets of over $1 million that are going, well, as long as it's only $1 million, we could still call it indie. Like, get out of here with that. That's absurd. When a majority of studios, like indie studios and indie developers, like solo devs, Scott Cawthon, Toby Fox, those are like some of the ones that I think of when it comes to indie. David Whaley, Tavish Brush, and so on and so forth. Um, I will say it was interesting to see what happened with Expedition 33 and how angry the industry got at the fact that, as a general rule, yes, they had a small in-house, but a majority of it was outsourced. Uh, and it turned out the way that it did, and everybody loves it. And they're like, but you won't buy our slop. We put our best people on it, and this, that, and the other. And it's like, I mean, yeah, but at the end of the day, you didn't produce anything that had any heart or soul in it. So why do I care? And especially in times where money is really tight, and you know, uh, your $20 here, your $60 there, your $80 games here. That's the difference between eating for a few days for a majority of people right now, depending on what side of
Mhm.
the world you're in. So I agree with you that it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of annoying and very stupid. Alright, Samantha says she was born and raised in South Carolina in a small beach town. Things were simple, and she was happy. After graduating high school, she married her high school sweetheart. Life was going smoothly so far, and nothing could get in her way. Things were not always simple, though. Complications began to arise. Around 10 years ago, Samantha's husband was injured at his job working construction. He went to a pain clinic and they prescribed him medicine for it. Little did he know the immense consequences this little prescription would have. His tolerance grew higher and higher, and so did the quantity of his prescription. 5 years after his first pill, Samantha's husband would overdose and die. Samantha had picked up on the habit as well, but swore to stop once her husband passed away. Doctors turned their back on Samantha once she stopped taking the pills. Once she stopped taking the pills, she was no longer a profitable customer. Even though Samantha had stopped taking the pills, her addiction persisted. Deep down, she knew she would relapse eventually. The pain in her heart couldn't be filled with anything but pills, not that she had any other option. So with, obviously, the central theme of this game being, like, medical and overdose and, you know, that experience, is this based around, and, you know, Scott or you could, you know, choose to not answer if you don't have an answer, totally applicable, but is this based around like some sort of personal event or multiple personal events?
Not my place.
Understandable. I had somebody, well, I have somebody in my family that had to go down a very similar road, so this definitely tugs at my heartstrings
Yeah.
quite a bit. And honestly, games like this are extraordinarily necessary, I
Yeah.
feel. In a world that is severely lacking empathy, I don't know. I feel like, well, I've always felt a calling, but I feel more of a calling to create games that people can empathize and sympathize with.
Yeah.
Now, like, more than ever. And thankfully, I will say things were looking kind of bleak there for the last few months, where, as actors and voice actors and everything, people like weren't too enthused about employing somebody that was visibly queer, or, you know, any sort of, you know, I mean, I've had casting directors say, we don't want to hire you because you look, you know, broken, like, you know, this, that, and the other, and it's like, yeah, okay, sure, but if everything is voiced by the same group of individuals, what are we proving here? In my opinion, you know, obviously, I've only been in the VA industry for the past 3 years myself, but again, I've been doing video game stuff since I was 10, so over 2 decades of experience as, you know, I guess the term you used before was hobby dev,
Mhm.
but I worked on a project called Spectre Seekers. It was for the NDK 2013 Oculus Rift sponsored game jam. I worked with a team of 6. We created the very first online multiplayer horror experience. We did Phasmophobia before Phasmophobia. We won 11th in the nation, went on Kickstarter, raised $18,000. And
Nice.
then the lead, I was 16 at the time. So thankfully the money was not in my hand as a 16-year-old. Unfortunately, the main developer learned that that was not enough money to do what needed to be done. And servers were very expensive. And unfortunately, they had to sunset the project well after the Kickstarter. It was an interesting experience, and I got to work on a lot of the artwork and, you know, a lot of the design principles and everything. Like everybody wearing multiple hats. did a bunch of everything. But I'm still quite proud of it because it was the largest experience that I had at the time, and I was grateful to have been trusted and given that chance to do something that large. Um,
Yeah, I feel like so many indies that make good games that would do well if they didn't have to pay server costs just can't survive because servers are so expensive.
I agree. All
I
right.
think it would be really cool if there was some sort of like, not publishing company, but like company that worked with different developers and is like, we have the servers, we cover those costs, we get part of your, we get rev share, you can use our servers, go.
No, I definitely agree with that. I know there are some things in the works that people are doing, um, but I haven't really heard much out of the last group. I want to switch gears a little bit here because we are running on an hour plus, which is perfectly fine. Like I said, it could take whatever. It's the conversation kind of dictates the time, and I'm enjoying this, and would love to, if not do this again, then just you know talk with you, one on one later and whatever, anytime. But let's talk Kickstarter. Um, so you have a Kickstarter campaign. Is there anything you really want to say about that?
Uh, yeah, just that, I came up with a little mini stretch goal, so if we hit 4,250, I'm gonna make some wallpapers of Kusanohime and a mystery romance that we haven't revealed yet, to match the ones that I've already made for the ones in the demo. Um, so yeah, if we get $200 more, I'll be doing that. Um, but other than that, just you're supporting a small indie team, lots of queer folks on it, and you'll support our gay little game. When I say I did assets, like I did the graphic design for all of these assets. Obviously, the character art is by Cheng Lu, but yeah, I did all the graphic design for these, which is very fun. And right there, Kusano Hime's sprite, that's by me. I am the artist for that sprite.
Aw. Do 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 do. Give me a moment. What was that? So, what was the most difficult thing about running this Kickstarter as a whole? Because, like I said, with the experience that I had, it was a completely different beast. Both times in the beginning when
Mhm.
Kickstarter was fairly new, and then also, post pandemic.
Yeah. I would say that the biggest struggle, well, I wouldn't say struggle, but the thing that took the most work was before I came along, Scott had a game. Didn't really have a brand. And that's sort of my specialty, right? I did all of the branding for Press Space to Jump, which is the worker run games journalism site that I am the site lead for. Um, so I know how to build a brand. I've done it for a long time. I did it in indie animation before I was even in college. So that was really where it needed to start. Building up a brand for Walk All for Princess of Worlds End. How, like, what are we doing? How are we gonna sell this to people? And I put in the hours, I figured it out, and it clearly paid off. Because Scott had no plan going into this. He had never run a Kickstarter before. Um, so he really needed someone to come in and run the campaign. And I was more than happy to. We've been a great team working together for like the Kickstarter updates and stuff. He writes the updates and I edit them. And a couple of them I wrote. But yeah, and then I made the assets. Not the pie chart. That was done by a different freelancer. But all the other assets on there, I did. And I've been running the social media campaign. I've been doing posts on Reddit, Discord, Blue Sky, reaching out to some media people. I also know Scott did like a branded F like fighting game tournament over the weekend, which is cool. I couldn't make it because I was too busy doing other stuff for the campaign, but yeah. Overall, it was just feeling things out and figuring out how to classify a game that's kind of different, than a lot of the other visual novels out there. And like I love visual novels, but every visual novel has something that's unique about it. And I think figuring out what really made this game shine and communicating that to people, I think that is what took the biggest brunt of the work. But I believe this game is special, and I think that people saw that in how I run the campaign.
Awesome, awesome. Well, as we are wrapping up, I guess I have two more questions. And if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask or you know hold for later if you don't want to ask on stream. But I would ask if you had to start again in the gaming industry with the experience that you have gained, what would you do different?
Oh, I'm gonna get in trouble if I say that on stream. We can talk about that later.
Absolutely. Well, then my final question for you, Radiant, would be what would you say to young people wishing to follow in your steps as a game developer?
I would say this industry is really tough right now, especially if you live in North America. It's a hard industry. It's going to be difficult for juniors and entry level people to find work right now. Um, but if you have the space and freedom to spend time looking, um, and this is truly is your passion, just know that you're not entering a jungle right now. You're sort of entering a desert. Bring your water. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying be prepared that it might be a little tricky right now. But there are good people out there and people who are willing to mentor, people who are willing to take you under their wing, and people who can help you navigate these hard times because, yes, you belong here. We just need to get over this hold that venture capital has on this industry. And once we do, like, we can shine again. So I will say it's not going to be easy, but if this is your dream, like, surround yourself with the right people and the people who are going to take care of you in this industry because the people are what's important at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And with that, we are going to go ahead and raid another developer, really good friend of mine. Mike does audio. He does Final Fantasy sound mods, as well as has been in the sound design industry for over a decade. He has also taught me a whole lot about sound design and some voiceover stuff as well. He also does speedrunning, so let's go ahead and go over there and support him. Thank you so much, Radiant, and thank you so much, Scott. I will send the recording, or like the VOD of this, and you guys can, grab shorts and put that on your socials and do the whole marketing thing as you see fit. Um,
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me.
Anytime. It's been wonderful. All right, guys. I will see you later for some games. Go show Mike some love.